Hi ladies, I thought I would do a little background on why I've decided to start this channel and how I got to where I am, and also by the title of this video, my ectopic pregnancy experience. So first off, I'll just jump straight in there. I already have one little boy, absolutely gorgeous. He's 4, he's called Oliver. And he was first month of trying, no problems, no messing, and he came. A little bit late, but he came. So then we waited till he was 3. Waited till he was 3. And then we decided now was the time to try again. So I came off contraception in the October of 2016, and we started trying on the end of October, November. My cycles are very, very long. They can be 2 months long sometimes, so I kind of skip a month. So anyway, started trying. Typical, got caught, and I found, well, I don't like to say got caught, I found out I was pregnant on the 28th of November, which was a Monday. Never forget it. Very, very late at night. Didn't think I'd been caught. Was very excited. Decided not to tell people, and we will keep it as a Christmas announcement. Typical. I don't know about what you're like, but I was looking at my due date, looking at birthstones, how long is in between them, all that palaver. So we figured out that the baby would have been due in August, early August, something like that. I got all the announcement ready, pink or blue, either will do, something like that. Dated it as a month, not an actual date, just a month. Got all that organised, blah blah. Went on as my days. And then all of a sudden, on the Monday, was it the 5th? Yeah, I think it was the Monday after, which was the 5th of December. I went to work. My mum actually looked after my son because he wasn't in nursery that day, and my partner was in work. And I went about my day, typical, went to finish work. I went to our local supermarket, little bits and bobs, blah. Got there, completely fine. And as I was walking in, a friend of mine who I haven't seen for a while was coming out. So I was gabbing to her. And then all of a sudden, I started getting like a burning sensation on my left side. Again, I thought, well, this might be the start of all the pulling and the tugging and, you know, the usual pregnancy things. As I was standing there, in a matter of seconds, it was really getting intense. And I was speaking to her, and I said, oh, okay, nice to see you again. And off I went. Typical again, thinking nothing of it. I carried on shopping. Needless to say, I think I got bread and milk, and I just had to get in the car and drive to my mum's, which is only round the corner. But at this point, she didn't know I was pregnant. So I had to try and play it down. And by the time I got to my mum's, I was really hot, I was sweating, I was shivering, and I had to play it down. And I went to her mum, listen, can I just go and have a little lie down, then I'll come down, blah. And she knew something was wrong. Went to the toilet, felt like I had to be sick. It was like I needed to release this feeling. Sat there, nothing. Now I am a fainter. When I get that feeling, I just faint. That's it. And my mum isn't very good. She isn't very good with things like that. So I was just thinking, please don't let me faint on her, because she'll have a heart attack herself. So anyway, left it. Eventually she came up, and mother's instinct, she knew. And I had my head in the toilet, and I just said, Mum, look, I'm 5 weeks pregnant, or 4 weeks pregnant. I can't remember what I said, but something's wrong. And I knew then something was wrong. So I got up, got into her bed, just laid there. Luckily my little boy he just stayed downstairs, carried on doing what he was doing, which was a relief because I didn't want him to see me in such pain. And then my mum ended up ringing my partner in work, which I wasn't aware. I'd already told him on the journey from the supermarket to my mum's house. I'd rang him and I'd said, look, something isn't wrong, can you get out of work? And it was around the time he was finishing anyway. So needless to say, he was there really, really fast. And I said, like, I've told my mum that we're pregnant and all this. So she advised me to ring the 111, which in the UK is like a phone number you ring, you tell them all your symptoms, and then they will say to you what they advise, if they want to send an ambulance, or if a doctor will be in touch within so many hours to tell you what they think. So anyway, I think normally they ask her quite a few questions, and with this particular conversation, I think she asked me about 3 questions, and I just said, look, I'm 4 or 5 weeks pregnant, no bleeding, nothing whatsoever, but I've got really, really strong burning, cramping sensation in my left side. And I remember her saying to me, she said, can you get up and walk? And I don't know about you, but I was like, oh yeah. No, and I couldn't. And she could hear the unsurety in my voice, so she said to me, if you had to go downstairs and make a drink, could you? And I said no. And within minutes she was like, right, an ambulance is on its way, blah, de blah, de blah. And again, I just said, I don't want an ambulance, I don't want to take an ambulance off the road, when at that point I didn't consider myself life-threatening. I didn't think, I thought it would be gas or I don't know what I thought it would be, but I didn't think it would be that. So I said, right, okay, I'll make my own way. My partner's here, my mum's here to watch my son, I'll make my own way. By this point, the adrenaline had kicked in. I was really shaking, I was really cold. Again, didn't think nothing. Got in the car, and on the way to the hospital, I said to my partner, we need to tell your mum that I'm pregnant. I felt really, I don't know how I felt, but I felt bad that my mum now knew and his mum didn't know. I didn't. So anyway, we rang her and told her the situation, got to the hospital. Again, I just said, look, I'm sorry, but this is really painful. And I got seen really fast, and obviously they know the signs. But in hindsight, the 2 biggest signs, one which was bleeding, I never had any. Even at no point during this experience did I ever bleed, not once. It was really unusual. And then shoulder tip pain, nothing. It was just in my side, that was it. So anyway, got through, got your bloods done, hooked me up to a drip, and they were sending me up to a women's ward. And by that point it started to sort of sink, okay, they think something is wrong, we've got to think about this positively. Anyway, got up to the ward, lovely ward, and then they sent me straight, the ward it was on was linked to the ultrasound department, so I just got rushed straight through on the bed. They had to do an internal scan because I was so early. And she said to me, how far are you? And I said, I think about 4 to 5 weeks. And she said, your HCG is only 399, which is low. It's still positive, but it's low. And I just thought, oh, right, okay. And when I asked her what it should have been, she didn't sort of reply. So anyway, she scanned me and she said she couldn't see a pregnancy, but she could see something on the left side. She couldn't make out what it was, but there was something there. Go back to the ward, doctor will see you. So forward wind a few hours, doctor came in, and he just looked at me and he just said, asked me again about bleeding, pain, blah blah blah. and he just said that he is 99.9% sure it was an ectopic. Now, I'd heard of it, but I'd never, I associated it with, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. That's what I associated that word with, and I'm going to lose the baby, obviously. Cried and cried and cried. And he said, because my HCG was there, there's obviously enough hormone in me that there's a baby somewhere, you know. So I think he sent me home. Did he send me home? I think he sent me home, and then he said to come back the next day for repeat blood and all that blah blah. So I did, and I think so. On the 5th of December, it was 399. On the 7th, by the time the 7th came, I'd been admitted, and they just were sure it was an ectopic, but because I had no bleeding or anything, they kept me in for observation. So anyway, on the 7th of December, it was 524, which again, it was going up, but not a lot. The next day, it was 627, and then on the 9th, it was 661. So in the space of 4 days, it hadn't doubled, but it was still rising, and still no bleeding. I was perfectly fine in the hospital. I was on drugs up to the eyeballs, couldn't feel a thing, and the pain, I think, had subsided, because by that point I'd gone from morphine to like paracetamol, like, you know, simple things. Anyway, after that, they said, all the different doctors gave their opinions, and they all agreed that a drug called methotrexate is how I pronounced it, would have to be administered, and they just explained that would just dissolve the pregnancy wherever it is, and that's it, done. Get over it, move on. So reluctantly I said, okay, you know, started that. So they started that. I'm not 100% what date it was, but it was before Christmas week. So they gave me that injection, and I had to go back the next day for blood tests. And I haven't got them figures. I didn't take a note of those figures, but the HCG was still going up even with the methotrexate, and you know, they gave me a good dose of it. Horrible experience. It was an injection, 2 injections right in the top of your bum cheeks, basically. Very sting, very painful, very burny. So I said, okay. So they went ahead and reordered a second lot of methotrexate, which would have been my final dose. Methotrexate in, blah de blah de blah. Went back. A friend actually, she came with me. Went back, and I think it was starting to come down. It wasn't dropping, but it was going the opposite way. So you know, it was working. So I kept going back for blood tests, and it was coming down, all that palaver. And then it was in between Christmas and New Year. Between Christmas and New Year, I went back in. I think it was something like the 30th of December. I went back in, and she said, you're still in the like 300 range. You're still, it isn't coming down as fast as we would like. So, again, keep it going. The 2nd of January turned up, and the nurse rang me, and she said, look, we do need to see you. It's not working. And I think I'd arranged to go in the next day. I can't remember what it was, but that didn't happen. Come the evening, my partner goes to work very, very early, so he was in bed, and my son luckily was in bed. Well, I say luckily, he was with him in the bed. And so sitting there, normal as anything, watching the television, and then I had to get up for something. I can't remember what I was getting up for. And as soon as I stood up, I just fell to the floor in agony. I couldn't stand up straight. My side was just burning, and I mean burning. It was like someone was setting me on fire from the inside. It was horrendous. I couldn't shout. I couldn't get to my phone. Luckily, I just thought, you're going to have to get up. So I got up, made my way up the stairs, and burst into the doors. My little boy woke up like that. He started crying. I was crying, and my partner was just panicked. Didn't stay there for long. My mind, I just turned back round, got back down the stairs, and I rang the ward and I said, look, something is wrong. Explain the history, and she just said to me, get into hospital, get to A&E, and you'll get whizzed right up to us. But they couldn't take me in because I've been discharged. They couldn't take me in straight to the ward. So I got there in the waiting. I ended up, my mum and my dad ended up taking me so that my partner could stay at home with my little boy to save him all the, messing and the upset. So needless to say, my dad rushed me into the A&E, and they were just, okay, take a seat and blah, blah, blah. So while we were waiting, it kept coming in waves. It was like contractions. It's like it really hit me, and then it'd settle down, and then it'd kick off again. And I'd been into triage, and they'd sort of said, they rang up the ward, and the ward said, yeah, send her up to us and we'll take over. But in the meantime, it kicked off in the waiting room, and my dad went to reception and just said, look, something is really wrong. You need to get a doctor to her now. So the triage came in, and she slowed my breathing down, and she calmed me down. And in the midst of all of that, we had a little bit of a joke between us. But anyway, so she put me on a trolley and took me round to resus, popped me on the bed, and I was just like a zombie. They left me mum and dad outside, and I was on this wheelchair, and I can remember them talking to me, and I couldn't reply. I don't know whether it was shock. Couldn't reply. Anyway, they got me stable, hooked me up on IVF morphine, which was just amazing. Hooked me up on that. Brought my mum and dad in. My mum, typical emotional. She was really, really emotional. My dad was stressed. No phone signal to get hold of my partner. Blood. I've got terrible veins. They could not get blood out of me, so they had to get one of those like an X-ray machine, but it'll pick up decent veins. Got the bloods out of me, put a drip in me, which later I found out was wrong. They just put it into me, not into a vein. It was just into the skin or the flesh. I don't know what you call it. And then another doctor came in who I'd never met. I hadn't met her before. Felt a bit of my tummy. Now, I'm not a small girl. I've got a little bit of a tummy, plus a bit extra. And she was wobbling it around, as you do. And she said to me, do you feel like your stomach has gotten a bit bigger? And I just said yes. I didn't even know if that was true. I just said yes, it does feel a bit bigger. And she said, she came right up close to me because I was on this morphine, and she said, I think your fallopian tube has ruptured and we need to get you to theatre because you're bleeding internally. Now, I never in a million years expected this. So I started crying again because I was on the drugs. Everything was 10 times worse. And my mum came in, and I was like, I just remember saying, they're going to take me tubes out. That's what I said to her. And she said, no. I said, no, she's just said to me, that's what they're going to do. So my dad went out, and they confirmed that was what they were planning to do. And then she said to me, there's actually a woman in theatre with exactly the same thing. So we need to wait for her to come out so you can go in. So anyway, by this point you're talking about maybe 3 a.m. I'd initially got the pain about 10 o'clock at night, so 3 a.m. on the 3rd. That will have been, was it the 3rd? Yeah, the 3rd. My partner and my mum and dad switched. So they took my little boy and he came in. And then the next thing, you know, I woke up the next day completely zonked. I'd been cut right open, straight over my caesarean scar, because my little boy was a caesarean. And that was it, out, done. And even after that surgery, I never bled. I never bled once. It was really strange, really, really strange. And then yeah, it took, I was off work for 6 weeks. Because I work for myself, so driving is a big part of my work. And then yeah, that's it really. So that was it. When I went back for a review meeting, the doctor who I saw was actually the surgeon who did the ectopic, and she said that when they opened me up, she said that the pregnancy was on my stomach. So in my mind, I sort of had that maybe on the 5th of December when I first got the pain was when it ruptured. I'm not medical, this is just my feeling. That's when it's ruptured. And then when it kicked off properly is when it was irritating my stomach. She basically said that what's happened, it's been sitting on your stomach and basically your stomach's just gone, that's it. I don't want you here no more and I'm going to get rid of you. And that's what's caused the pain, which is why I've gone in and had the surgery basically. So yeah, that was my ectopic story. And now we're trying again 1 year later. Unfortunately, typically about 3 days before what would have been the 1 year to the day we found out, we did find out we were pregnant, but I miscarried the next day, and it was a bit strange with it being a year to the day. And if you look on my channel last month, again it was a bit of a is it, isn't it? I'm very entertaining because I'm a little bit, oh look at that line, can you see that line, what do you think of that line, can you see, you know. So fingers crossed for this month, because I'm terrible, but whenever I get to a new month I think, oh right, well then we could do a Valentine's announcement, or we could do a Mother's Day. I always think of the announcement and how I'm going to tell people. And so yeah, so follow the journey. If I haven't rambled on too much, because this is probably quite a long video and I'm not used to editing yet, so this will be start to finish, no messing. So yeah, like and subscribe. Any questions, just let me know. And I hope I haven't bored you too much. I hope I've given someone a little bit of insight, because I know as soon as I'd settled down from hearing the word ectopic, the first thing I did was jump on here and look at levels, and yeah, I looked at everything. So it was part of the reason why I thought I'd post this. Anyway, I'm a rambler, I'm a scouser, I'm a rambler. Like it, thumbs up, and subscribe, and hopefully we'll have some bump dates this year. Fingers crossed. Bye.